All right, so I guess I lied here. I guess this is going to be a little bit of audio on this, which I don't tend to do. Haven't had any good polls, like really good polls, lately. Um, when doing this, the last like probably 4 or 5 times. Even if I were to be lucky enough to get an 85, it'd be a card that I already have. Um, and this was part of what I was talking about in the last live broadcast. That was not polls. It was part of the AI defense tuning test. Um, was talking about getting these special cards uh, if they're only available like during the time that they're listed as being in packs. Um, and since I did play Team of the Week recently, I guess that'd be when I would notice this more. Um, pretty sure, pretty sure old Gabe is currently on the team, and so in this, at least in this instance, this would be a pull from a special card, a non base card in which he was currently available. Now, before I go over to that part that I will just check on real quick, I'm simply just going to go over to the Team of the Week screen that indicates that is who's available through the end of this month. Um, Also, this happens to be this week as well. So before I do that, I'm just going to take a quick check because I don't think I even have his base card because it would have to be it would be like what an 83 and it'd be a base untradeable for me to keep him on the team, and I don't think that I have that, and I don't think that I have any. Basically, I don't think I have any of his cards. Not that I never did, but I don't know if he's had any other versions other than his base card, and I have not pulled the untradeable um, to have on the team, so I wouldn't even have known if the untradeable would have been good enough to make the team. Um, I seen 85, and I assume automatically that they've got at least a shot of making the squad, but he is a left winger, so if I want to have him actually play his position, and being shooting left-handed, I do, I guess, kind of tend to be like a lot of players where I like to have um, lefties on the left and righties on the right, generally speaking, unless it's going to come down to a choice of like something else as far as synergy, or maybe I want to play that game with speed on the right and shot on the left, or vice versa, or whatever. Um, Long story short, 85 overall is not necessarily a lock to even make now in its current version that hasn't had a chance to have enough time to really be fully beefed up, since this is a brand new thing that we're trying out here. I mean, I've been doing the trade-in sets not as um, de- you know devoted to it as I have been of late. And I can be even slightly better at it in terms of like setting alarms for exactly when they're going to go off and doing them immediately. And then doing these, what is normally very quick little broadcasts with no audio on my end. You just get the game audio, which is mostly just sound effects, just as kind of a live record. Now, interestingly enough, when I try, I don't know if you, so I think, yeah, I was able to pull on the beginning screen of the other player, which, no offense to him, I immediately forgot who he was. Um, I think I think it was like Jacob Slavin, but it was like an 80 overall base card, and so at least in terms of overall rating for the gold rare packs, it's the lowest you can get. So was just kind of doing my best to try to capture that. I had to redo the broadcast attempt the second time, and I don't know if this is simply holding because I ended up putting the mic in prior to the time where this would like normally kick me off. I did adjust like a couple of settings again prior to starting this up again, but who knows? I don't know. I get a lot of these broadcasts killed, so I've had at least one or two openings that were lost as live broadcasts, but not a big deal. There weren't. I don't think there were too crazy of pulls in there. Like of late, I think like one of the better cards that I managed to pull from this was the base alumni Numanen, and that's an 83 overall, but defender, decent stats in at least some categories that you'd look for from a defender, and yet because I haven't been playing a lot of the hut games right now of late while I've been getting this set up to run, just because I'm taking the time, I guess, to run with the whole AI defense tuner test for now. And so like that could be time where I would normally be trying to play a game or a hut challenge or whatever. I haven't played a ton of games in the last whatever it's been, 2-3 days, or at least I don't know, only maybe 2 of those days since pulling that base Numanen. However, I don't think that he made the squad in the probably couple games that I have played in that time frame. Certainly not from an autofill standpoint. And then I don't know. I think I kind of looked at his synergy and his stats and stuff like that, and was trying to decide if I wanted to kind of put him in on my own. After kind of doing the autofill to see who that gives me, and then seeing what tweaks I want to make for whatever it is that I'm attempting to do, assuming it's a game that I'm actively trying to play and wanting to do whatever, wanting to win or complete the challenge or whatever. So long story short, just on this screen here, saw this, was like 85 overall, team of the week, player that I'm aware of, was like, cool, that sounds solid. And then I honestly did not really look at the other 4 main categories. I was just like, all right, 89 skate, so this is gonna be a fast card, and that was exciting. And then it turns out that like for an 89 skate, 89 acceleration and speed, and then also agility, is basically about as low as you can get for an 89 overall skate rating. And it seems that maybe it's denying that off a little bit, and I'm probably not the only one that if say those are the 4, and I don't know if they're maybe trying to throw endurance into that now based on this new sort of setup for how they parse off the underlying stats that go into those overall 5 categories, which are supposed to be able to go into the overall rating. Who knows, honestly. I'm sure people do. Probably even listed on the EA website if I would ever take the time to look into stuff on the game as opposed to just testing it out myself. What I was saying is I don't think I'm the only person that would prefer that if you were to pick just even acceleration, speed, and balance, just those 3, and take it a step further of like just one of the acceleration or speed, rather than balance. Yeah, I'd rather have that be higher. I'd rather have either one, acceleration or speed, but probably speed to be 90, and then have that be whatever it would need to be to get to stick with the 89. But there was a part of me that was like, all right, it's the team of the week, it's 85 overall, it's 89 skate, it's going to be a fast card, and we're going to be looking at least 91s plus for acceleration and speed. And I guess I just automatically assumed they had to at least be a 90 for those 2 stat categories. And you might be thinking, well, that's strange. Why are you making such a big deal about a 1-point differential? Well, an argument can be made that the actual game of hockey, and then I would say definitely this game, depending on your opponent, whether CPU or PvP, is definitely at times a game of inches and played on the edges. So +1, and in areas that are important to you based on what you're trying to do can make a difference. And so yeah, once I had clicked into here, I immediately kind of saw, okay, crap, that's as an 85 overall, most of that is coming from the skate rating, and then the other 4 are low or lower. And the only one of those 4 that's, I mean, there's 382s and an 84, and the one that's 84 is checking. And yeah, let's see. So stick checking is 82, and body checking is 81. Where the fuck is? Oh, shot blocking 78. Yeah. So, okay. Then, like, I feel like the shots are better, especially for being an 82 overall. Granted, slap shot accuracy being the lowest, 81 is not great, but 82s for both wrist and 83 on slap shot power is not terrible. Again, for a player that doesn't have any, I don't think Beast. No, I wasn't prepared to be talking through this kind of stuff and doing analysis. And I sometimes forget these things. Beast Synergy, if activated, does it add anything to shot at all? It might add something to. It might add like a whatever it is, like a +2 to like slap shot power. So that could be boosted up to 85, I guess, if that was actually activated. I think. Might be. That might just be pulling that out of my ass, to be honest. Because at least for me, I felt like Beast was more along the lines of, like, you know, the hit categories, like Beast, Bruiser, heavy hitter, even Hammer Time for that matter. But you know, not a lot of MC Hammer Synergy players worthwhile adding to your team. No offense to Zdeno, but you need whatever you need. You need like 4 of them or whatever on your team to activate it. So I don't know. So basically, I guess I'm saying shots not great, but that's kind of what you would expect from an overall 82, is that they're going to be low or middle of the road at best, like maybe up to 85. So I mean, for being an 82 shot overall, I don't think that that's a terrible shot, despite being a forward, despite being on the left side with the left stick that I would like to have some shots out of. He's as an 85 overall, he's never going to be my front line left winger anyways. So there you have it. But the shots are just too low for that to ever be anywhere close to being a possibility. And so, I mean, the rest of it, you know, is what it is. You know, an 82s, 84s. You know, there's some 70s in there. Obviously, you know, you're not going to expect them to be good at face-offs generally as a winger. But you know, 54 is, you could very easily find the lowest overall rated player in the game as a bronze, with a considerably higher face-off, like, you know, up to 80, and therefore better than the base Crosby or Kuznetsov, for that matter, or anybody else that you'd think of off the top of your head as a premier center, as opposed to a guy who is not even in the NHL, has a higher overall face-off rating. It's fine, whatever. Do what you got to do. Yeah, you know, there's reasons for that, clearly, that I don't feel like I need to enumerate right now. But yeah. So anyway, face-off is beyond shit at 54, which is fine. No big deal. Just hope to not have him in a situation where the face-off is important enough and he's the one taking it. And then the rest, I don't. Poise 79, this 174, fighting skill 74, so more right because I'm not fighting with him. I already mentioned the shot blocking is at 78. Just looking at the lower numbers here, durability 79. Still trying to figure that out for myself in terms of how much the durability stat really has an impact in HUT. Would seem to definitely be important, for me at least, an important statistic in seasonal play, whether it's season, franchise, be a pro, etc. But here. Don't know. Don't know if it's, if you get up against a heavy hitting team, if it means that there's a greater chance of him taking an injury from a hit, and or just getting injured in a weird freak way, or from blocking a shot. But at 78 shot blocking, how often is he going to be blocking shots as a left winger who 84 defensive awareness and 82 overall defense? Are you going to put him on the blue line in the game? I don't know. 16, 17 minutes. Definitely feel like I've done way more analysis than is necessary for this card, considering I wasn't prepped to do any. But I felt like I had a feeling that there was going to be some analysis, or not that there's going to be some analysis to be done, but that there's going to be somebody that would be pulled up, and I'd be like just jumping on the mic for at least a second to be like, see, you can, dreams do come true, you know what I mean? Like, you can get a halfway decent card, but seeing the special colors, yeah, I was kind of like, all right, cool, we can get like a primetime Obi or a primetime Crosby here. But it's cool. 85 overall. Based on the format, where it's got to be untradeable, 85s in other positions, or with 85s overall that have specific stats or synergies or whatever that I might be looking for more, would definitely have a greater likelihood and propensity to make the squad on a more regular basis. I'm not saying he's definitely not making it, but currently I think that would be more likely that he'll see time for now, just because of where the team is currently at. And in 4 days' time at a minimum, we're already adding Nieuwendyk to the list. And yeah, okay, so it's not the same position, but I need to look at that card sometime in the next couple of days, prior to me earning it, the Nieuwendyk, that is, to see the stats there, because again, even though not exactly comparing apples to apples here, but if Nieuwendyk's face-off rating is just untenable for me, then it's not like I'm not going to be putting a 90 overall untradeable card onto this format channel team. I sure as shit am, at least for now. I mean, maybe that'll change later on, but I think he's basically a lock to be on the team currently and for a good period of time. It seems like we're going to be getting one good untradeable high rated, at least a high overall rated card per month, at a minimum, like regardless of even if you didn't do anything else in the game that garnered untradeable cards at all, good or bad ones, then you'd at least be getting that one per month. And so it's like whatever. But once you get to 12 months, game's over, right? On to the next year. Unless you're watching this and you're still playing NHL 18, like solely, like you're not playing 19 at all, feel free to leave some comments. Tell me I'm completely off base on that. And that 6, almost 7 weeks into this game, if not longer, you're still playing that like regularly, daily, like I am this game. And there's enough of a community there that the market is still active and liquid, and prices aren't completely out of whack. But I don't know, maybe they're out of whack in your favor. Maybe you can get players much cheaper. Without going off on too much of a tangent on that, I had played I played like FIFA and MLB, like when it was season past, and had to kind of deal with the the kind of weirdness of that market when when there was a newer version that existed. I think, pretty sure, MLB for sure. Um, and at least for me, it was fucked up. I was like, come on, I'm not paying that much for that. Like, it wasn't I expected people would just be selling their stuff off super cheap, and I might have been that much late to the game, um, even though I think I was only a season behind. And I don't mean like towards the end of where I was like, a season and 11 months behind. I think it was like it's just a season behind. Um, and it was just like, man, I can't. I'm not buying anything. It's way too expensive for in-game currency market prices. So you just got to build your team through the various ways that you can in that game, which is slightly different than you can in this one. For now, at least, I guess. I haven't played 17 or 18 for MLB, so I wouldn't know. Um, but yeah, so long story short, currently, I think he makes a team. I do. I think he makes a team. Not front line. And if he's going to play left side, probably not second line. But who knows? Could make it into the third line, which in certain games means that he'll see a little bit of ice time. And you know, if he's just going to be left side fourth line on the quick games, probably doesn't see any ice time. And so then it just comes down to whether or not he's in there to add his synergy and as like a CYA just in case, decent speed, okay shot, as opposed to like having a fourth line left winger who's simply in there like just for the synergy, and therefore like might make more sense to be like a bronze card that's adding up to potentially three synergies that help you across the board. But if they get into the game, could potentially ruin the game for you, because by the time they get into the game, in a game like that, a short game, it's going to be end of the game, unless you have the ability to select your lines and like force one of the first three lines out there instead. That's probably running super low on energy, and assuming that that's going to be a better spot for you than having a fourth line left winger who's just on the squad for synergy, and you don't want to have in the position of potentially, again, in a game of inches, basically just being that inch, being that edge, that ends up costing you the game. So, long story short, I'm assuming right now he's third line left winger. I'm assuming that. Possibly second based on things I'm looking to do. So I think he's, in that sense, he's on the team. You would think an 85 overall with an 89 skate again would be a lock, and then maybe in other positions or other whatevers would be. Maybe not. Depends. But 25 minutes, way too long. We need to get out of here. But yeah, he's in real life, and I will definitely play with him now to see how he plays. I've clearly played against him in at least one team of the week game, like this particular card, the slightly higher rated card. I think he scored on me actually, which whatever. But I haven't played with him myself, so I'm gonna play at least once with him, see how he plays this particular card. Then we'll go from there. And as I said, I think he's gonna be on the team for now. As more and more upgrades come into the team, obviously that decreases his chances, because this is not a card. This specific card is not a card that has the ability to see any upgrades on it. So what you see here, the 85 overall, those 5 ratings, each of those stats there, unless they make changes to the game, they cannot increase. The only thing that can change off of all of those numbers that you see there are the factors that go into the beast synergy if he gets into a game and beast synergy is activated, and that's it. And that remains the same, for eternity. So in that sense, That's all I'm saying is as the team upgrades and improves, his chances, likelihood of making the squad at any time, and especially as like a sort of like a lock guarantee, like every time, go down. So as I said, I don't really see him as much of a lock right now, anyways. Wow, have I really been doing? Wow, it's been an hour since the free. Okay, geez, stuff's happened. You know what I mean? I got to go though. So this is the card. Pulled it. Talked a lot about it, but not in the sense, not with the same like even enthusiasm as when I pulled the base Crosby out of like my first couple of runs at the Evo packs, or even like probably not even like the same sort of excitement as like when I pulled the Primetime Letang or Kuznetsov, even though the Primetime Letang is the same overall. Kuzi is a little higher. So it might seem like I'm being unfair in that sense, but I don't know. The team's improved since then. You know what I mean? And other cards have come out that are better and available. And for some of those, the prices have gone down. For others, they've gone up. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Things change. So it's not like I'm pissed. I put the mic on for a reason. I wanted to check out the card and see how excited I wanted to be, because there wasn't initially excitement from me seeing this. And that's why I grabbed the mic. But then, getting into it, again, I'm not disappointed. I'm not pissed. I'm happier with this one than whatever the other one was, the Slavin, the 80 overall. That's just going to go into probably the next set of rerolls. Even though I think I do have a backlog of cards that are getting ready to get into the churn. So the other card that was pulled out of these two in this run is not necessarily a lock to get put into that. But will eventually. Whereas this, it'll be some time before I would toss this in. If a higher rated card came out for him and I got it in untradeable format, then he'd be in the same boat as Bergie for me and Kuzi and Letang. In that. It's just like, fine, I can immediately sell, well, not sell, but trade in the trade impacts, the lower overall, because they're both untradeable. And if you quick sell this, it's 0 coins. Why would you do that? Get something of value, put it together with one other one, and get a brand new card that presents some sort of value to you. Even if you're not crazy like me and only limiting your team to those players. If you're building out your squad, I would be surprised. If all of the top tier players, like all of the people that are getting rewards other than the bottom rewards in competitive seasons right now. If every single one of those has their entire team, not a single player that ever plays on their team that's untradeable. Like, so that means you don't have Ferraro for sure on your team ever, and then now you've probably played often enough that you already have Nieuwendyk, so he's not playing on your team either. The cards that came with that makes more sense, I guess. The cards in the game with the game don't make your team, so they're 85s. I don't know. So, I mean, if that's the case, I feel like you're either choosing to play with tradable versions of base cards of like Ovi, Crosby, McDavid, and as opposed to taking their tradable versions of their upgrade cards on your team, which would be slightly weird. I guess I wouldn't fully understand the reasoning behind that. Guess it's possible. I think what would be more likely is that you're just running with straight legends, like nothing but legend cards, and I'm pretty sure there's enough of those out there that you can fill your entire team with the legends. And then, unless you just went out and bought them all, that would also suggest that you've got one or both of the 99 overall legends on your team as well. So how in the world do you have that on your team and in your collection and not on your team? I guess unless you chose to sell them because you wanted the what 2.53 million maybe coins for either one of those 99 overall cards. I don't know. I'm just saying. I would find it irregular if like everyone who plays and is actually good at the game has no untradeable cards on their team. That would seem strange to me. But I also think that I'm the exception. That there probably aren't very many, if any, players that are exclusively doing that. Because like what? So you're not going to play with any legends, because those are not in the untradeable format. And then like right now you just like you pull down the Halloween Buffy, uh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer on Halloween, and that's a tradable card as well. Obviously not talking about the lone one, I'm talking about the actual card. You're gonna have that, and you're no, I'm losing my fucking train of thought. It's 32 minutes in to a 2-minute video that normally doesn't have any audio. Those are the stats. Let's go ahead and take a screenshot of that. I'm saying makes the team right now. I guess we'll find out, but ship it to the collection and let's move the fuck on. You know what I mean? Peace out, guys. Talk to you some other time.